A gorgeous night outside of St. Louis from the Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. It's St. Louis FC hosting Nashville SC. Tonight's match presented by the Cheshire Inn. The Stanley Cup finally in St. Louis after 52 years. They were in last place in the NHL in January, rallied to make the playoffs and ultimately won the Stanley Cup. St. Louis FC never in last place, but they're trying to rally to make the postseason. Currently the 10th and final playoff spot. Matt Peterson with George Metellus. It's been a good run for St. Louis this year.
Yeah, somewhere Brett Hull is smiling that the Blues won the Stanley Cup, but St. Louis have been very strong at home. That's been the key to their push toward the playoffs. And if they can pick up another 3 points against a team that's definitely going to qualify for the playoffs in the Eastern Conference in Nashville, it'll just boost their confidence and secure their place in the top 10 and a playoff spot for St. Louis.
Our player to watch presented by Electrical Connection is Kadeem Dakers. He'll be off the bench tonight, third game in 7 days. So head coach Anthony Poulos had to rotate the squad.
Yeah, absolutely, especially midweek game against Ottawa. Kadeem Dakers coming off the bench will be very important. He's third in the team in goals scored. He is a fast player that can link up with his teammates very well. Great passer of the ball, distributor, so he will be important for St. Louis. And when they need that spark in the second half coming off the bench, he could be the difference for St. Louis to get a big victory over Nashville.
Now our defensive keys to the match presented by Fortinet.
And for St. Louis, it's about defending set pieces. It's going to be very important that they make sure they win all the aerial battles when it comes to set pieces. And for Nashville, they're going to play 3 in the back. We'll get to the lineups in a second, but they have to adjust to this turf here in Fenton. That is going to be critical for the side from Nashville.
Starting lineups and kickoff when we come back to St. Louis. Nashville looking to go top of the East for the first time in their history. St. Louis looking for a perfect 3-win homestand.
This year we developed Ale d'Or, which is a beer brewed exclusively for the St. Louis Football Club. We've been partners with STLC for coming up on 3 years now. St. Louis Football Club got some Schlafly, call out our Luligan friends on the side. You'll be able to find Ale d'Or obviously out at Soccer Park and then at your local grocery in and around St. Louis, so we're really excited to get it out there in the market. We're excited to debut it in 16-ounce cans for the upcoming season.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to theelectricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org. When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to theelectricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
And welcome back. Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. Matt Peterson with George Metellus. St. Louis FC hosting Nashville SC. St. Louis FC beat them 1-0 on the road back in March. Try to replicate that here tonight. Here is the starting lineup under second-year head coach Anthony Poulos. A lot of changes to the team, which won on Wednesday. Short rest, third game in 7 days.
Yeah, 5 players from that victory midweek against Ottawa in the starting 11. for this matchup against Nashville. You have the backline, Reynolds, Fink, and Kavita. Those two, Kavita and Fink, are essential. Both have started every game so far this season. That partnership is crucial for St. Louis's success. And then Master Cachet also starting in that match against Ottawa with Calvert up top. And those five started in the previous matchup as well.
Meanwhile, for Nashville SC and her second-year head coach, Gary Smith, a win tonight would take them atop of the East for the first time in their 2-year history. It's a much more similar lineup than the team that went on the road to win in Tampa last weekend.
Yeah, exactly similar. It's the same starting 11, so Gary Smith very happy with the way the team performed against Tampa, so they're going to make the trip here to St. Louis and play the same starting 11. Look out for Lebo Moloto of South Africa. He is their main playmaker, leads the team in assists and chance created. If he gets going, it's going to be a problem for St. Louis's defense, so they have to key in on him and prevent him from having a major influence in this game.
A starting lineups were brought to you by Schlafly. Referee tonight, Thomas Snyder. Underway from St. Louis. The home side in green. The visitors from Nashville in yellow. St. Louis won the first meeting this year 1-0 back in March at First Tennessee Park. It's interesting, George, we talked with both coaches about it. Anthony Pulis did not take much from that. On the winning side, Gary Smith did take something from that, so it does matter, even though it was at the start of the season.
I believe it was the second match of the season, and so Anthony Pulis just still maybe trying to figure out his team and how he wanted to get the rotations going, the formation, tweaking the formations a little bit. And Gary Smith instituting that three-man backline saw what holes could be, or what spaces could be given up by Nashville if they aren't careful, if they don't execute that three-man backline correctly. So it's always very interesting what the coaches and the managers, they take away from a game early in the season.
It's a make-or-break homestand for St. Louis, and they've taken advantage of it. Full 6 points in the first 2 games. Last Sunday beat Hartford 3-2, and a late winner for a 1-0 win. Tyler Blackwood off the bench, 80th minute goal, trying to make it 9 points in 7 days at home and solidify their playoff position. Nashville, meanwhile, has won 3 out of 4. A big game for different reasons for both teams. Spoke with Gary Smith about the importance of finishing top 2 and earning a bye in the Eastern Conference standings. He said, we don't talk about it, but the players know what's going on. I want to take it one game at a time, the cliches.
Yeah.
And put them in the best position for home games come playoff time.
Absolutely. Nashville is the team right now 2 points back of New York Red Bulls 2 for that top spot in the Eastern Conference. So these games are very important for Nashville as well. They don't want to take any team for granted, especially St. Louis team hungry to get into the playoffs.
Chance here for St. Louis. They break up this left side. Top of the area settled. Alive! Just past the near post. It fell on that near side. Masta Kasher, the 23-year-old from Algeria, still seeking his first goal in St. Louis.
This is a great ball in. Tyler Blackwood does well to settle it. Masta Kasher just missing it wide. Great opportunity there, finding those little spaces in the penalty area, and then Nashville defense. A great ball in, and well done by Tyler Blackwood to settle it. Sees Kasher making that run into that space, and Kasher just missing it wide. Good, strong start for St. Louis here at home.
Great kick for St. Louis after a push in the back. Nashville missing an MVP candidate for the third straight game. Daniel Rio still out with his groin injury. 17 goals on the season. Here comes St. Louis again. Kasher dispossessed on the edge of the box. But they've been getting goals from different areas. 9 goals in their last 4 games. It's a very talented team. 49 goals scored this season, just 24 goals against for Gary Smith's club. And Anthony Pulis was very complimentary of Nashville's team, said they're one of the best rosters in the league, maybe the very best. And even when they have to make changes, so they did it tonight, Very good depth off the bench.
Absolutely. It's a sign of a well-coached team. They have a very good system. And everybody fitting in, having a good understanding of it.
Darnell King pulls it back. Moloto, too heavy. A goal kick here for St. Louis.
The first real touch for Lebo Moloto. And he tried to send it far post. Looked like he had Cameron Lannister, or Lancaster, I should say. I'm sorry, I've been watching too much Game of Thrones. Sorry about that. Cameron Lancaster at the far post. Yeah, but just that service, the attempt on the delivery got away from him. And maybe the impact, we talked about defensive keys, and maybe we talked about the turf. And that's something that might have impacted the service there by Moloto. We'll see if he adjusts throughout the course of this match.
Goal kick from Jake Van Lessen, 26-year-old. From San Diego, played at University of Akron. Another free kick coming in for Nashville. You see Sean Reynolds pleading his case.
University of Akron had a soccer dynasty in terms of winning national championship for a while, so he's got some good training there going to Akron.
Moloto standing over it. The South African team high 9 assists, 4 goals. Excellent season for the 29-year-olds. Tyler Washington's another option with the left foot standing next to him.
Defensive key here for St. Louis, defending set pieces. It's a big opportunity here.
Here it comes from Washington. Back post. Headed over the bar, goal kick here for St. Louis.
And that time Forrest Lasso getting up, winning that header, but just couldn't keep it down. So a good defensive stand there for St. Louis there early on the set piece. Make sure they have to win those aerial battles. Lasso winning the ball. That's when your big center back, Kavita Fink, the taller players, have to be aggressive in the air.
Van Lessen with the restart. Before, St. Louis was with Orlando City B. Connection with Anthony Pulis, who was the head coach there. 6 shutouts, 15 goals against in 14 games before tonight. Battle for the #1 shirt with Tomas Gomez. Gomez with 11 starts.
Gomez started last week in that shutout victory against Ottawa here. That's good depth. Good depth at goalkeeper for St. Louis. Trust both goalkeepers. That's a lot less to worry about for Anthony Pulis.
Back and forth start to this one. The best chance in the early going. Still for sure. Now another break for St. Louis. Offside. Another chance. Well blocked that time. That was Russell Cicerone just beyond the penalty spot. The Michigan native with a good chance.
Yeah, Cicerone winning the ball in the midfield. And they did well to run into that space, attack the Nashville defense, played it out wide to Calvert. And Calvert did well to pull it back in the middle, but Cicerone just can't get a clean touch onto it. But well done by Cicerone to win the ball in the midfield and then attack the Nashville defense. Early on, we're seeing St. Louis get into the penalty area.
Good diagonal. For sure. Centered it, cleared. Corner kick. There for St. Louis. There's the Algeria. 9th appearance so far. Anthony Pulis looking on. Sharp dressed on the sideline. Corner kick brought to you by Electro Savings. They play it short. Colin Fernandez. Big switch from Pitcher.
We talked about defensively St. Louis defending set pieces. Well, they also have to be productive and effective in their set pieces when they have a chance to attack on the set pieces as well. Put that Nashville defense on the back heel.
Out to midfield. Good bending ball towards the corner. Cameron Lancaster trying to run onto it. Back for Finlayson. Oscar Umar working through midfield. The Ghanaian was number 17. Now it's Fernandez.
Good start for St. Louis. And a team usually has three in the back like Nashville. They want to dominate possession, but St. Louis is the one so far that's had the majority of the possession and looked very strong. A lot of passes going forward, not too many passes sideways.
Early delivery, top of the box, bouncing, still alive. Hit from distance and it's blocked.
And they're finding ways down the right side, the left side, through the middle. They're finding those spaces. There's been some loose marking in the midfield from Nashville, and St. Louis doing an excellent job of finding the spaces. That time down the right side of the St. Louis attack, the left side of the Nashville defense. St. Louis coming out. Some clever soccer right now for St. Louis, breaking down this Nashville midfield.
That was Colin Fernandez with the strike from the top of the box. Back with St. Louis. Spent a loan spell here with Chicago a couple years ago. Good tempo from St. Louis. They continue to push it into the attack. Well clear. That was Cicerone on the run. Continued pressure from St. Louis. And corner kick coming.
And at that time, Paris G, the left back, got into some space in the middle. And then Cicerone, once again, looking aggressive. You had to like the directness of how St. Louis is attacking this Nashville defense.
Metro Savings corner kick forthcoming. Looked like some frustration for Anthony Pulis.
Colin Fernandez, it looked like he took it too fast there.
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted to just play it quickly and the referees did not allow it. Service from the right. Got it back towards the top of the box. He's not too far off the mark. Fonwell Kavita out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. 1 goal to his name this season. He's been ever present alongside Sam Fink.
And Cicerone sending it into the penalty area. How about Fonwell Kavita winning the header and then taking the shot? Another one going just wide. But St. Louis, strong start. You feel like if they can continue to put this pressure on and maintain the possession here early on, they'll get a quick goal. You feel it coming. Kasher had an opportunity. Kavita with the chance there. Seen Calvert get into the area. Cicerone's getting into the area. So they are making some strong headways into the Nashville defense.
Studs up challenge. Over comes Snyder, the referee. Darnell King back to his feet and a yellow card shown. Paris G, the Canadian, in the book here in the 12th minute.
Paris G trying to be aggressive to win the ball back. That was close. Both players going up with that. As you mentioned, Matt, studs up. A little late to the ball. He picks up the yellow. Now, this is a good way to defend set pieces here. Make sure everybody is together. Maybe offside trap working here. We'll see.
Lebo Malota standing over it. Dangerous over any set piece. 2 in the wall for St. Louis. Here it is for Malota. Scrum inside the box. Blocked clearance, still alive for Nashville. And finally cleared. Colin Fernandez takes no chances, direct to the corner. A foot race now. Blackwood will get there. Came off the bench to score the winner against Ottawa on Wednesday. Another beautiful diagonal switch. They work tracking back. Taylor Washington. Fernandez.
Hernandez looked like he had an opportunity in the middle before Nashville just closed him down. And you gotta like what Russell Cicerone is doing right now. Every time he gets a little bit of space, he's going toward goal. He's being very aggressive going forward. Well, we saw there St. Louis showing that they can also break out very quickly on the counterattack in transition. That long ball over the top to Tyler Blackwood into space was excellent, the right idea. And then he made the switch over to the left side. But so St. Louis is showing early on here that they can play kind of a patient possession type game, or when the opportunity presents itself, break out quickly on the counterattack. Nashville they're on their ropes a little bit here when it comes to these first 15 minutes here in Fenton.
Ali Bourgeois, formerly with the Houston Dynamo, well-traveled now in USL. Houston, Texas native with the throw-in. He's found a good spot in Nashville. Top of the area for Nashville. Lancaster. LaGrassa. USL veteran. Across the back for Bourgeois. Knocked down, first time hit just wide, the flag was up. That would have been spectacular from Lancaster, would not have counted.
It looked like Papa Mensah was whistled for the foul on Kavita. And the right arm of Mensah going over on the head of Kavita, that was a foul, but what a great turn there by Cameron Lancaster. St. Louis bailed out a little bit by the foul by Papa Mensah.
A battle of London natives in the attack for each side. Lancaster from London. Tyler Blackwood also for St. Louis.
And that's going to be a matchup to watch. Mensah versus Kavita. And the Nashville attack of Mensah, and then obviously the defense of St. Louis, Kavita. So those two, we figure they will be battling all game long. Whoever wins that battle might determine who wins this match.
Too long from Fenlesson. It's a throw in here for Nashville. Bourgeois directs.
Good organization defensively from St. Louis. We've seen Nashville, they're struggling to string together 4 or 5 passes when they do have possession. That's a credit to St. Louis. Anthony Poulos has done an excellent job so far, drilling his team, keeping that defensive shape, keeping them organized defensively. Nashville has to find a way to build the possession up with more than string together more than 2 or 3 passes. It's been hard because St. Louis have kept themselves well disciplined.
Lancaster settles. LaGrassa. Taylor Washington with LaGrassa. Simple clearance from Kavita. Good continuity for Anthony Poulos and St. Louis. Kavita and Fink have combined for 50 appearances before tonight. They both start tonight. They've played in every game at center back this season for St. Louis.
I think only Kavita has been subbed off once, and Fink has played every minute of every game. So you know that those two are so crucial in the defense, the middle of the defense for St. Louis.
Well read that time. Maybe too predictable from Calvert. He tried to lay it off to the right wing. Washington. Tribbett. Akinyoti. You can hear someone from the St. Louis coaching staff, maybe Poulos, saying, go to the ball.
Yeah. Right now, I think Poulos wants, well, make sure, first of all, no one gets in behind them in terms of a 1v1 situation, but put a little bit of pressure, a high press on Nashville, see if they can pass their way out of the press. So far, Nashville hasn't been able to do it. And there you go, St. Louis get the ball back on the turnover. The poor touch by Mandoto.
For sure drops off to build the attack for St. Louis. He had the best chance of this match in the early stages. A good look. Still trying to find his first goal. A few notes, pen and paper for Anthony Pulis. Second year in St. Louis, 14 wins last year. They finished 8th in the West. Currently 10th in the East with 8 wins, but I had the bittersweet part of a wonderful U.S. Open Cup run, which brought them international attention and a lot of credibility and experience for some of the younger players, but it does disrupt the USL Championship season. So before this homestand, they were winless in 5. Playoff hopes dwindling, but a win tonight would be 9 points in 7 days and would really solidify their playoff chances.
Absolutely, and when you consider from where they came from in the standings and to push themselves all the way back up into playoff contention, and they've done it at home. Only 1 loss at home this season. That's the way you get back into playoff contention, winning at home. And finding a way to get points here and there on the road is important, but if you can pick up 3 points at home and then send a message to the rest of the teams in the Eastern Conference that this is a tough place to get any points. You come here, you can lose. That's a great message for St. Louis, good confidence boost. Every time Nashville seemed to make a little bit of headway into some space, there's a St. Louis player there. That time it was Sean Reynolds, pushed up a little bit to kind of cover the space because Cicerone had pushed into the middle a little bit to try to help out an attack. So well done by Sean Reynolds. St. Louis doing well in transition to get numbers back defensively.
Good work to get it on this right side with space. Moloto. Back for Bourgeois. Lagrassa. See the patience here of Nashville trying to pull St. Louis out.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see if St. Louis falls for it. That's the key.
Mensa wide to the left, back towards Mensa. A touch just in time from Kavita. Bourgeois at the back. Bad giveaway. Colin Fernandez. Pulis wants it wide, and he gets it wide on this near side. Masta Kashur. Kashur just took too long on the ball, and a predictable ball into switch of field.
Yeah, tried to get it out wide to Cicerone, but there was no one coming in through the middle channel as well that he could play a shorter pass to. They needed to have one more person, maybe Oscar Umar, come up and fill in that space, get that shorter pass, and then play it out wide to Cicerone, and then play it back in. That was such a long switch. It was easily read by Nashville. That's a situation there where St. Louis didn't have enough of the midfielders coming up when they got the possession back to fill in those spaces. And Master Kasher had feeling like he has to play the ball long there. And it was turned over back to Nashville. He had Paris G overlapping on the left, but didn't get it to him quickly enough. Or didn't think about getting to him quickly enough, so he had to play it back out wide to the right.
Played by Fernandez. Thrown in by Bourgeois. Good work to settle it. By Mensa. Mensa trying to find that pocket between the back line and the defensive midfielders of St. Louis.
And it looks like Nashville has withstood the early intensity and early pressure of St. Louis, and now they're settling the game a little bit here. Holding on to the possession. Darnell King down that right side, trying to connect with Moloto. Moloto is in that middle. We see him mostly on the right here. He's been trying to overload that side. Maybe take advantage of Paris G, who on a couple of occasions bombing forward. See if they can catch him out of position.
After a bright start, the game has hit a slow spot.
Yeah.
Neither team breaking through midfield. Paris G to throw it in.
And Nashville absorbed that pressure early on from St. Louis, and now what they've done, it kept it slow.
A turnover. Well blocked. Sliding over to get into the path with Taylor Washington. It was a good look from Cicerone, who was very direct once he won the ball in midfield.
St. Louis and Nashville, that's been the one problem they've had so far in this match. When they turn the ball over in their attacking half, St. Louis has been very aggressive, very direct in trying to create a goal-scoring chance. Oh, that was a nice roulette turn there by Kasher. That was pretty smooth footwork there.
Sam Fink. They found space now on the left side. G on the overlap. Has three to his right. Paris G for St. Louis. Fernandez. Kasher. Backside. Cicerone settles back in the mix. Some hesitation that time from Pickens. The veteran sort of started and then got back to his goal line.
Yeah, but Blackwood was wide open there, unmarked. If Cicerone just keeps it on the ground to Blackwood, he's standing there pretty much at the edge of the six. He has a chance to get a touch, turn, and either with the left foot go far post or right foot power it past Pickens and goal. So a missed opportunity there for Cicerone in terms of connecting with Blackwood. And then Paris G on the left side, he was just waiting for someone to run into that space there, and no one ran into it, so he had to float it into the middle on the service. There's got to be a little more movement off the ball for St. Louis because those holes are there in the Nashville defense.
Paris G. Kasher. Fernandez.
And with Cicerone and Kasher, they want to play the ball out wide. You can hear it off the bench. Wide, wide.
They do get it wide near the corner. Poor clearance, alive for St. Louis at the end line. Center ball right between the three attackers. Fernandez. Shot blocked, that was Calvert. One of his first touches of the night. Falling away from goal as he hit it.
Yeah, and Calvert was falling away from goal, but Fernandez was making the run there too into the middle there of the Nashville defense. So things, as I mentioned, the spaces are there opening up. St. Louis still trying to find that connection there, but they're available. And if they can continue to pressure Nashville and make them turn the ball over in their attacking half, St. Louis is going to get more goal-scoring chances.
Service from the left, and a clearance from Kavita. Grassa forced to commit the foul. And Grassa now 26, USL Championship veteran.
See more. I know they want to play the ball out wide, try to stretch out that Nashville defense, especially since they play three in the back. Stretch them out, give them more room, more space for the attacking players. And spaces that Calvert has been able to carve out a little bit of space. Same thing with Blackwood. See Kasher getting some touches as well. Just missing that little final connection there for St. Louis. Fernandez, I think, has to be the one that gets some more touches here. He's looked like someone he's so far in this match, he's looked like the player that could really, through the middle, break down and get that right, quick touches, quick passing. Send players into space, send his teammates into some space.
We saw Pickens on the goal kick, second year in Nashville. He doubles as a goalkeeper and the goalkeeper coach. Something you'll see at the USL Championship level, player coaches. At 37, so much experience. Bit of a homecoming for him. Pickens from Washington, Missouri, about an hour east of St. Louis.
It's always good to have a player coach, especially if you have younger players that are coming through the system. They can see what the coach is talking about and see the coach actually perform those duties, learn more from the player coach. So that's always very impressive.
Connor Sparrow, the other goalkeeper for Nashville. It's also a homecoming of sorts for him. Also from the St. Louis area. Break at the end line and sliding off his line is Pickens, and Pickens will get in the face of Calvert, who waves it off and says there was nothing in that sliding challenge. He was trying to score a goal.
Yeah, and I think that Pickens took offense to it, but Calvert was just trying to go for the ball, and he didn't make contact with Pickens either, so there's no real reason for any kind of hostility or tension. And it's good that the referee looks like he's going to give him a verbal warning. That's what you want to do.
There was a ill-timed back pass of sorts, just a touch from one of the defenders, and Calvert into a challenge, and immediately Pickens took umbrage.
Yeah, I think Pickens should be more upset with, that was Forrest Lasso who made that touch that went backwards there on the back pass. He should be upset at Forrest Lasso for kind of putting him in that danger there, because if Calvert anticipates it a little bit quicker, maybe a few seconds faster, he could actually get a touch around Pickens and score. So Matt Pickens is upset at Calvert. He should be more upset at Forrest Lasso's teammate for the back pass.
Well, if you're going to touch it there, it's got to go wide, away from
Yeah,
goal.
yeah. That's almost rule number one. Maybe rule number two is if you're going to back pass, make sure no one's around, and if you're going to play it backwards, try to play it sideways to a teammate instead of to a goalkeeper. Maybe that's rule 2A and 2B, I should say.
It's been a line of confrontation for St. Louis around the midfield stripe. Space for Bourgeois and Darnell King to operate. Best chance of this one remains Mastic Ashur in the first 10 minutes of the match. A good look. Did not hit the target.
The three-man backline that Nashville plays, a lot of times when a team plays three in the back and they lose possession, then you have a King and a Washington, while White, who drop back, and it's like a five-man backline defensively. But that's not the case when Nashville lose possession. Those three are basically back there by themselves. And that's why St. Louis have been able to find some space and at least get some shots off, get into the penalty area. So maybe King and Washington will have to do a little more work defensively as this match progresses. We'll see.
Well read. Sean Reynolds won it immediately forward. Good challenge. Lasso. Simple defending there on the sideline.
Yeah, well done. He had to come over and make that play after that quick turnover. And you got to like how St. Louis, when they got the ball quickly, they didn't waste time. They went forward directly down that right side of their attack, forcing that play. Actually, Lasso had to come out of position to make that tackle on Blackwood.
Calvert was just offside. It's a restart for Nashville. Lasso just came over on loan from FC Cincinnati in July. He's been in and out of the team at various points this season. Captain. Here at the end of the summer, Nashville knows a win tonight, they'll move atop the East. First time ever in their 2 years in the USL Championship. They've been atop the East. Free kick here.
Mensah made the turn. He's going forward before he was fouled. So we're seeing Ropapa Mensah now trying to get back deeper into the midfield, add another body to the midfield, but also a big player who can hold up the possession.
Good run. Right at Finlayson.
A lot of times you see strikers will do that. They'll drop deeper in the midfield to just get themselves in the game, get some touches, get themselves involved in the flow of the match, then also maybe create some space for the other striker, in this case Cameron Lancaster. So we'll see how St. Louis defensively responds to Ropapa Mensah being a little more active in the attack and getting more touches for Nashville.
Good help from LaGrassa, helped force the turnover. Nashville now growing into the game after St. Louis controlled the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, this is what we expected, Nashville to have most of the possession. I wouldn't say St. Louis is trying to be conservative here, but certainly absorbing the pressure and then seeing if they can catch them on the counterattack and exploit any kind of space that's left open by Nashville's midfield and defense.
Third game in 7 days for St. Louis, trying to make it 3 straight wins, each at home. Possibility, top of the box. Didn't come off for Mensah. First touch got away from him. Cicerone, good work. Still pushing forward, Solomon now. Yellow jerseys chasing. Challenge top of the box from Lasso. Free kick. Spectacular that time. Russell Cicerone.
It's a brilliant run through the midfield. Actually gets the ball in his own half of the field, the defensive half of the field, bursting through. And I think right before he gets fouled, I thought he was going to get that touch out wide because Kasher had moved into his vision right there, but he was fouled right before he could make that play to Kasher. But still a great run by Russell Cicerone and a dangerous opportunity here for St. Louis. Picking the ball up in his own defensive half, and that's what you want to see. If this space is open, be aggressive, go forward, and Cicerone has been the most aggressive, most attack-minded, straightforward player, if you will, for St. Louis in this first half.
Lasso, the USL Defender of the Year last season with FC Cincinnati. They won the regular season USL Championship. Now with Nashville, commits the foul there. Few options here. Russell Cicerone. Pass to Kasher. Colin Fernandez interested as well. Who will it be? Wonderful opportunity for St. Louis to score the opening goal. 5 in the wall. Now 6 and 7. Masta Kasher right into the wall. Second chance for Fernandez was well blocked. Nice work, Darnell King really got out there to block the shot at the top of the area. Another block corner kick coming, and the traveling supporters for Nashville applauding their defensive effort.
I think King took one in the solar plexus, and then I think, I don't know who, but another player, the second shot off of Fernandez went off the face. I thought this would be set up perfectly. Oh, it's King twice off the back. I thought that free kick was set up perfectly for a left-footed player because he could swerve it around the goal into the space that was left open by Pickens, or that the wall was trying to cover. So I thought it was the angle was better for a left-footed shot, especially where the wall was set up. But still, St. Louis still in a dangerous position.
Electro Savings corner kick taken short by St. Louis. Overhit to the back post. They have options. Sam Fink, 6 goals to his name. Kavita's another good option.
The second time that they played it short, especially from that far side on the corner, didn't yield to anything, but especially when you have Sam Fink, who is, for a center back, has scored a good number of goals, very impressive goal scoring rate for a center back. Just want to send it into the penalty area from the corner, that in swinger, and see if Fink can get onto the end of it and score, or at least make contact and create some kind of confusion for Nashville's defense.
Pickens with the goal kick. Good composure and a crowded spot from Oscar Umar. Ghanaian comfortable in tight areas. Switch doesn't come off. Darnell King, direct play up this right sideline. Left that time. I meant to expect to run behind him, but Lancaster's run went towards the box.
Yep, and I think he was expecting Lancaster or Moloto to be there. Neither one of them were there.
Poor clearance, Lasso. Chance here for St. Louis. Here it comes. Wide again! Masta Kashura's second good chance of the opening half. And again, he doesn't hit the target.
And it's a great opportunity here for St. Louis, but I think Tyler Blackwood has to put a little more weight on the pass here. It's the right pass, but he leaves it a little short. Look how many Nashville defenders collapse on him. Because all those Nashville defenders collapse on him, he has to go near post. If there's a little more weight onto it, he has more space, and that far post opens up, and maybe he could have swerved the far post. So it's a well done by St. Louis on the break, but I think Blackwood has to put a little more weight on it to give Kasher a opportunity to hit it far post, because those three Nashville defenders were coming in furiously to try to prevent that shot.
Shows out of the Montreal Impact Academy. Came up with FC Montreal 4 years ago. And a free kick here for Nashville.
But we're seeing St. Louis, they have the ability. We can see that between Blackwood, Cicerone, even Colin Fernandez a couple of times. On the counterattack, on the breaks, in transition, they are getting into very, very advantageous and dangerous goal-scoring positions to exploit this Nashville defense. It's just a matter of that final pass that leads to an excellent, or leads to a goal. So those opportunities are there, and I suspect that it'll be there in the second half as well.
Taylor Washington will deliver. High line from St. Louis. Well cleared. Sam Fink rose to head away. Long touch, a jersey tug right in front of the referee. And a booking. Agrassa in retreat. Yellow card. The Nashville midfielder.
That is what you call, Matt, a professional foul. And he had to make that play, or else St. Louis was going to burst forward there and have a great opportunity, pretty much one-on-one. That speed of St. Louis. This is a team with pace. With Cicerone, Kasher, Blackwood, they have pace to exploit, take advantage of Nashville on the counterattacks. That is looking very, very promising for St. Louis.
Agrassa, a lot of experience at the USL level. Kasher gets up, took umbrage from that challenge from Akinyoti. Akinyoti, 25-year-old from Nigeria.
And another foul to slow the momentum, slow the progress of St. Louis's attack. Nashville has to be feeling frustrated here. The way St. Louis have been able to defend them, and then when St. Louis has the ball, able to go forward and look very strong in attack.
Switch from Lagrassa. Lasso. Kenneth Tribbett. Bourgeois.
This is good positioning by St. Louis. Nashville forced to play side to side. They want to look into the middle there, but Oscar Umar has positioned himself in the middle, so it seems like they have every sector of the pitch covered with someone. It's making it hard for Nashville to pass the ball forward. You see another side pass. This one's probably going to go backwards. Yep. So St. Louis doing very well with their movement side to side defensively, keeping their shape, not allowing Nashville to play the ball through the middle, basically starving Moloto, who's their main playmaker of any kind of service. He has to track all the way back just to get a touch onto it. St. Louis would not mind having Nashville's number 10 touch the ball in the Nashville's defensive half.
Very patient here from the visitors. Simple clearance from Kavita.
If you're St. Louis and Moloto is getting touches on the defensive half of the pitch, that's a positive sign.
The fourth official has indicated 1 minute of added time.
1 minute added on here at the end of the first half. Stoppage time presented by Paycor. Need more time in your business? Contact Paycor to handle your payroll and human resources needs. Headed clear. G slid over to knot it away. Bourgeois. Rushed himself just a bit. Blackwood. Agrassa. 3 on the left sideline for Nashville. Entry ball does not come off. Fink was ready for it. Turnover. And a whistle comes.
First of all, Kavita did an excellent job there. He had Cameron Lancaster marked very tightly. It's going to be tough for Lancaster to get the service.
Halftime in St. Louis after a 1-0 win for St. Louis in Nashville in March. Another low-scoring game, scoreless after 45. Your thoughts, George DiMatteis?
Well, I think that St. Louis did an excellent job in the first 15 minutes, putting the pressure, trying to get that early goal. But when Nashville settled the possession, they did. St. Louis was very strong. They kept their defense well organized, kept their shape, and then had their chances going forward in the counterattack. I think we'll see the same game, similar match in the second half.
Halftime in St. Louis, scoreless at the break.
The excitement that is sweeping the nation has arrived in St. Louis.
And a goal! It's Cicerone!
Fans are loving the authentic soccer experience. Tailgating, cheering, chanting, and much more. It's a party you won't want to miss.
Goal! St. Louis FC! And a goal!
Get your tickets at stlouisfc.com.
Junior programs, basically, there's 2 sides of it. There's a rec side and there's a select side. And basically, it's for ages 2 to 12.
So you start off by doing a little bit of a warm-up.
It's a developmental, kind of want to introduce the players to the game and kind of all in a fun environment and create a positive experience.
Our staff is first class, our facilities first class, and it's really a first class program.
And welcome back at halftime. St. Louis FC nothing, Nashville SC nothing. The experience attending St. Louis FC matches is unique to each fan. For season ticket member Johnny Garcia, it's all about family. He explains in tonight's edition of our season ticket member spotlight. Take a look.
USL Pro, it's our pleasure to announce our 17th and most recent expansion franchise to St. Louis.
I've been a season ticket member since the beginning. Didn't really attach to any of the other sports teams. Saw something in the paper that the USL had assigned a franchise to St. Louis. Obviously I love soccer kind of my whole life, and it was just a great match. I love the camaraderie, the way the team supports the fans. I don't really feel like I'm a customer, but more of like a friend, and that means the world to a lot of us. So this is my crew here. Obviously I'm with Garcia Properties. We help people with all sorts of things: buying, selling, management, development, apartments, leasing. Brought my whole team. We're all have a bunch of kids. They're over here destroying the place.
Leaving it for Lewis. Hilton scores! And might that just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
A lot of us have been watching this team for a long time, and we've been supporting them from the beginning. This playoff rush, this roster is really coming together at the right time. It's beyond exciting for a lot of us. So like Drake said, we started from the bottom, now we're here. Go St. Louis FC, let's get in the playoffs.
Takes a touch around the keeper, Cardoni, Tikwa! And that should do it.
Since St. Louis FC entered the USL in 2015, our supporters have shown up to leave their mark on every match, but their efforts have not been limited to making noise in the stands. Through an ongoing commitment to our community, the St. Louligans have given back and have steadily driven their charitable giving to reach incredible heights. This week, they surpassed 100,000 in donations to local charities. On behalf of everyone at St. Louis FC, we say thank you. Thank you for being the heart and soul of our franchise and a staple of generosity in our community. Halftime in St. Louis, no score.
On top of the box, strikes it true, back of the net. Oh, what a finish, Bustamante.
The attempt at an amazing goal. And maybe a goal of the year candidate from Rodrigo da Costa. And here we go again. Kadima! Oh, what a strike.
Has been in the 11. And there's an effort from distance with Irving off his line. And that's a goal for the highlight reel there.
Obert there. Plua, shot, goal! Plua with the bicycle! Conrad Plua! Dillon goes for goal. Oh, what a strike from Justin Dillon! Now Gallardo for his brace tonight. Gallardo. A nutmeg of St. Phil. What an opportunity for Joe Gallardo. goals for the Richmond Kickers. Mikey Rowe now. Rowe takes it on, and it's in! What a strike! And Tormenta! Very patient. Here's Bermudez now back on his left foot. A curler for the top corner. Oh, what a goal! Bermudez! Run. Torre will shoot. He will score! Javon Torre! What did you say that you walked in? Oh, something! Something's good! Oh my goodness! Lubin, what a save! Outstanding individual effort. They stand together.
Halftime scoreline, St. Louis FC, nothing. Nashville SC, nothing. And now some news and notes from across the USL Championship. Phoenix Rising FC, unprecedented 17-game win streak. Heading into tonight's game against San Antonio FC. Simply remarkable what they've done.
Yeah, Solomon Asante is putting in a MVP season in Phoenix. They are dominating the Western Conference. I don't know if there's a team out there that can take them down in terms of the entire league, but they are a fantastic story. Looking forward to seeing what they do in the playoffs.
We've reached the stretch run in the USL Championship. 7 weeks to go, 31 teams still within 10 points of playoff position. Nearly everyone still has hope. And then Wednesday night soccer, another regional rivalry is renewed. Las Vegas Lights FC will host Phoenix Rising FC. That's Wednesday at 10:30. Maybe that unbeaten streak is at 18.
Yep.
Full slate of games. LA Galaxy 2 hosting Real Monarchs. Fresno FC will be at Reno 1868. The Lights hosting Locomotive FC. Phoenix Rising trying to extend their streak, 10:30 Eastern. And Sacramento Republic FC hosting Tacoma Defiance.
Now, how about Reno and Fresno? Fresno second in the West, Reno third in the West. That should be a great game in Nevada.
And now our standings in the Eastern Conference. We talked about this in the Open, but a lot to play for so many teams. We know Nashville, with the win tonight, will go atop the East for the first time in their 2-year history. And for St. Louis, 1 point ahead of Charleston for the 10th and final playoff spot.
Yeah, those top 3 teams in the East, you're talking about Red Bulls 2, Tampa Bay, and Nashville. Even Indy 11 is still in the mix for the #1 spot in the Eastern Conference. So this is going to be a very interesting final stretch in the playoffs for the Eastern Conference.
Scoreless at halftime in St. Louis.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The excitement that is sweeping the nation has arrived in St. Louis.
And a goal! It's Cicerone!
Fans are loving the authentic soccer experience. Tailgating, cheering, chanting, and much more. It's a party you won't want to miss.
Goal! St. Louis FC! And a goal!
Get your tickets at stlouisfc.com.
Hops with the opposite foot, and then when I say make it bigger, it just means get a bigger V. I think it's really important that, one, they get feedback on what they're doing correctly and what they could do better. Letting them get the repetitions over and over and over again and making sure they're doing it right. Powerful locked ankle touch with the inside part of your foot. This is my opportunity to help them get better and teach them. And that's, what I spend most of my time during training, focused on, is improving that overall technique.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I got to check it out. I'm going to Google it.
Highlights from the first half. Second meeting of the season, St. Louis FC hosting Nashville SC. And early on, it was all St. Louis.
Yeah, it sure was. This is a great opportunity here. Tyler Blackwood leaving it for Master Cashier, and he just missed it wide. And they were finding those little spaces in the Nashville defense. And then we talked about set pieces, and a great chance here off the header by Forrest Lasso, but just couldn't keep it down.
Calvert, 1 versus 2. Another good opportunity. That one fell to Cicerone.
Yeah, I think Cicerone, if he goes with his left foot there, he would have had a better chance to score. But he just missed it wide. But it showed that St. Louis had great chances and were threatening the Nashville defense in the first 15-20 minutes of that first half.
Wide shot from Kavita.
And then here, look at the turn now. This one didn't count because of the foul that Mensah committed on Kavita. And great chance here. Remember, this started off a counterattack. Cicerone getting all the way to the top of the penalty area before he was fouled. A missed opportunity. I think that would have been a better free kick if it was a left-footed shot. And then,
second good chance for Master Cashier. This one also wide.
yeah, and I think Tyler Blackwood probably should have put a little more weight on it, made Cashier go a little bit wider. That would have opened up that far post because 3 Nashville defenders were coming in to close it down.
Set for the second half kickoff. Referee Thomas Snyder is ready. So are we. Here we go, second half from West Community Stadium. Scoreless after 45 minutes. St. Louis looking for 2 straight wins. We're one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, Nashville SC, after beating them in March on the road. A win here tonight would complete a 3-win homestand, 3 wins in 7 days. Meanwhile, Nashville seeking its 4th win in 5 days and its 2nd successive road victory after a 2-1 win at Tampa Bay. And they know history can be achieved with a win tonight. They go atop the East for the first time in their 2 years in the USL Championship.
Yeah, very important match for both teams. Nashville looking to get that home field advantage in the playoffs, and then obviously St. Louis looking to qualify for the playoffs. A lot on the line in this matchup for both of these teams. Should be an exciting and intense second half.
Look at Gary Smith's 2nd season in Nashville, of course, ties to North America. Led the Colorado Rapids to the 2010 MLS Cup with that man as one of the goalkeepers. Matt Pickens was on that team. And now, 9 years later in his 2nd season with Nashville, not a surprising move. A veteran coach like Smith wants to solidify the back. He brings in Pickens as a goalkeeper coach and a player. Some continuity going into USL Championship with so many different venues, environments, and climates, and surfaces.
You want someone who has that experience, that knowledge, and who knows how to prepare for those situations as well. Matt Pickens certainly does, and it's a great security blanket for a coach to have an experienced goalkeeper.
Nashville still missing Daniel Rios, 17 goals on the year, missing his 3rd straight game. Here's a chance for Nashville. Punched away. Well read by Jake Van Lessen, who came off his line. This shot from distance is blocked. Van Lessen recovers. First moving to his left, then to his right to make the claim.
And down that right side of the Nashville attack, the left side of the St. Louis defense, Darnell King finding a little bit of space to start off this second half. I think for Nashville, or I should say St. Louis, starting with them since they're the home team, they have to finish their chances on the counterattacks. That's the big deal for them in this second half. They had some great opportunities in the first half, couldn't finish them. Nashville is going to probably, once again, have most of the possession. So St. Louis has shown the ability to be fast and get into those spaces quickly on the counters. They just have to finish those opportunities.
Good, clean challenge. That's Colin Fernandez tracking back. Look at the things he has to do if he wants to have an impact. He's always been known as a good technical player, came out of the Chicago Fire Academy. Something you hear every coach say is everyone has to defend in the modern game, even the skill masters. And if you're not going to defend, you really have to make an impact going forward. So I think a lot of these players are still learning that they have to defend, have to make plays like he just did.
Absolutely, and especially for St. Louis, that they want to get out on the break quickly. So that means you have to win the possession quickly. You have to be back there getting the numbers. You have to win the ball back quickly.
Agrassa. Oh, it just doesn't come off. Moloto had a good look, didn't connect that well. Good vision from Agrassa, feeding it to the South African.
And the South African did an excellent job first of letting the ball run through and then turning up into the penalty area. I thought at first he was offside, but the flag stayed down. And so Nashville working that little 1-2, quick touches and quick passes there. The top of their penalty area in their attacking half.
Good contingent of Nashville traveling supporters. 300 miles apart. Something that's exciting for many fans in the Midwest. With some of these USL Championship sides joining Major League Soccer, but here they still have the rivalry on a week-in, week-out basis between Nashville and St. Louis and Louisville. Cincinnati before they went to MLS. The Midwest growing with franchises. I've seen them each and every year in the growing USL Championship.
Yeah, and the Midwest, that part of the country is going to become an untapped, or I should say it is growing as a resource for talented football players, talented soccer players. So USL tapping into that.
Patient build-up down the left side. Washington fakes across. Now he sends it in. All cleared by St. Louis. Balls to Kashur. His pass too far in front of Calvert.
Yeah, that St. Louis struggling a little bit here with the passing, linking up those connections.
Also worth mentioning in the 11, Memphis FC, a newer member of the league, Birmingham.
A couple of, that's especially in the South there with Atlanta United 2, Birmingham. Kind of a lot of people feel the South, Midwest kind of ignored regions of the country when it comes to professional soccer, but USL tapping into those part of the country, those parts of the country. Could be great talent. It's dormant, just waiting in those parts of the country.
Good crowd on hand, enjoying this one. And we've seen, if you look up and down the St. Louis roster, a lot of Illinois natives. So they're kind of tapping in the Chicago area. Of course, historic rivalry between Chicago and St. Louis. Across the state of Illinois. But as part of the allure of many of these USL Championship teams is giving players a chance to play in their hometown for the first time in their careers, maybe since college or even high school.
Absolutely, and you're giving the players a chance to play at home, but also travel across the country and see parts of the country that maybe they wouldn't see otherwise. Growing the game, and it really is a strong grassroots community effort that a lot of these USL clubs are undertaking or growing, and that's a good thing. That's how you get loyalty, is through the grassroots, and the USL is doing a good job of that with teams in St. Louis and the like. So it's just going to continue to grow and get better and better, and the soccer should get better and better as well.
Reynolds out of the back. Brings Cicerone. Cicerone very direct. Draws a double team, runs out of room. All defended by Kenneth Tribbett. Former Penn FC man, 4 goals. He's a set-piece weapon that time, some one-on-one defending. Fink heads back to Jake Van Lessen.
Cicerone did a good job of running at the defense, cutting inside to attract a couple of defenders. He wanted to play it out wide to Reynolds, who was overlapping on the right. I think he just lost his footwork a little bit, stumbled a little bit when he was trying to make that pass, or at least slow up so that he could get his body to turn to make that pass, and then gave the ball away. But still the right idea by Cicerone. He's been very impressive in this match so far. I've been impressed with how aggressive and how direct he's been in this matchup.
First change coming for St. Louis.
For St. Louis FC.
It's Kadeem
Leading the
Dakers.
game, number 99, Master Catcher.
Substitution presented by Signa. Kasher comes off. Dakers, real
and entering the game, number
production
13,
on the bench
Dakers.
for Anthony Pulis.
In the 54th minute.
So let's see, Dakers is gonna play out wide on the right, so you figure let that's where he's settled there. So Cicerone maybe moving to the left wing, we'll see.
Coach Pulis told us on the phone this week he's one of our brightest spots, dangerous around the 18-yard box. Always looks like he can score.
What I like about this substitution is the timing of it. A lot of times you see coaches, they wait until 75th, 80th minute. Anthony Pulis going for the victory here, seeing that there is a hole and a vulnerability in the Nashville defense, so doesn't waste any time. 54th minute, makes a substitution to bring on one of his best players. Still keeping the 4-4-2 with Dakers on the right and Cicerone out wide on the left.
Dakers 4 goals on the season. Tonight's his 25th appearance. He's played in all but one match for St. Louis. Wonderful touch. Took it out of the air with the plum. Mensah now at the end line. Mensah crossing. Good diving headed clearance. It had to be their shot from distance as well wide from LaGrassa.
Well, we saw Mensah in the first half on occasion drop back a little bit deeper, make himself more available. Instead of being the target, he's being the instigator. And there he does it again. Dropping back, getting that ball, and then one-on-one, taking it to the end line, creating some havoc in the St. Louis defense.
Errant restart from Fenlesson. It's been mostly Nashville since halftime. Fenlesson gets there just in time. Lancaster nearly there, 6 goals on the season.
Idea by Cicerone.
Moloto, well-weighted pass. Corner kick. Mensah's been outstanding since the break.
Yeah, he sure has. He's moving left to right, looking for where the spaces are available, and then making himself an option to be on to connect onto the end of the pass, getting into the penalty area. This is where that communication between Kavita and Fink is going to be important. They always have to track Mensah now that he's more free-flowing in his role in the attack of Nashville.
Another Electro savings corner kick. Either Moloto or Taylor Washington for Nashville. Moloto. Still alive top of the box. Crossed and cleared. Akinyoti with the delivery from the left side of the area. LaGrassa just a touch too heavy. Akinyoti did his best to try to keep it in the field of play.
It's the right idea by LaGrassa. Akinyoti just couldn't keep it in, but Nashville starting to chip away a little bit at St. Louis's defense here. I think St. Louis need to get some possession here, build the attack going forward, get that 1-goal advantage. It'll be easier for them to play the counter-attacking style that we saw in the last, 15, 20 minutes of the first half. If they can get a goal here in the second half, then they could sit back a little more, wait for their opportunities on the counterattack if they can get a goal here and take the lead.
Nashville 59% possession in this game. Greg's going to come on.
Substitution for St. Louis FC. Leaving the game, number 18, Caleb Calvert.
Calvert comes off, Kyle Gregg comes on.
And entering the game, number 22, Kyle Gregg.
Gregg's been a big weapon. Leading scorer for St. Louis, 7 goals, 3 assists. Tonight's his 24th appearance.
A quiet match for Calvert. I know in the first half he had a couple of touches that helped St. Louis look pretty dangerous in attack, but nothing going forward here in the second half. So fresh legs, aggressive substitutions for St. Louis. Mensa with the header there. And we talked about it in the pregame, defending set pieces, but also defending crosses, deliveries into the area in the air. Mensa winning that header. No problem for Fenlison, but still something to be concerned about.
Gregg joined St. Louis FC last year. Led the team 13 goals in under 2,000 minutes. Second most goals in a single season in St. Louis FC history. Irvin Herrera still holds the mark with 14 3 years ago. Service from the left. 2 were there, but it's beyond both.
A reminder, fans, that alcohol sales will end at the 70th minute. The Budweiser Beer Garden will reopen after the final whistle for 1 hour.
In that 4-4-2, as I mentioned before, Cicerone now on the left, Dakers on the right, and then Blackwood and Gregg up top.
Well, Matt Pickens we saw there could record his 100th career shutout tonight.
Wow.
Across his long career, he's now 37. We mentioned his time with Colorado under Gary Smith. 2010 MLS Cup champion. Also time with Chicago, New England Revolution. Pickens was the MVP for Nashville last season. Well-traveled Tampa Bay Rowdies.
100 career shutouts, that's impressive. And especially in modern soccer, modern football, where teams are being more and more attack-minded, taking more shots, putting out formations like that, that's impressive.
Well, Paris G down on his back. Trainer comes on for St. Louis. Oh, that's dangerous. Darnell King is trying to go over the top. Looked like either his foot or his knee.
Yeah.
Caught G.
Yeah, in the face. It's a brave challenge there by Paris G, trying to go low to dispossess Darnell King. King elevating to go over him there. Hopefully he's okay.
Fearless giving instructions to Sam Fink.
So Paris G, he's the left back. You see him on the, trying to win the ball up high there, dispossess Darnell King. So very brave challenge there by Paris G.
So G well-traveled from Burnaby, British Columbia. One season at Simon Fraser, a Division II powerhouse in Canada. Developed in the Vancouver Whitecaps FC Academy before went to Croatian Second Division for 2 years. Tulsa Roughnecks.
This has been an interesting time. Croatian Second Division. I'm telling you, some of these soccer players, they should write a book about their travels and some of their experiences with different teams all over the world.
As noted, just one sub remaining for St. Louis. Still about a half hour left in this one, so.
My guess is that if we get into the 75th, 80th minute, it's still 0-0. Maybe a Colin Fernandez could be the next player subbed off. Obviously, I think it'll be an attack-minded substitution for Anthony Poulos. We'll see. I mean, the scoreline will obviously have an impact on that.
Good settling touch from Darnell King. Nebraska loves that switch. Picks out Washington. Points of emphasis from Anthony Poulos. We want to be hard to play against. We want a team walking off the field after they play us, and that was difficult. Nothing comes easy against them.
Especially in this building, especially on this pitch where they've only lost once all season. Look at Dakers here. I thought at first it was a nutmeg, but he just got it on the outside of Akinyode. I think Akinyode fouls him because he got a little embarrassed. There was a smooth little touch there by Kadeem Dakers.
Good flick on from Greg. Deep throwing here for St. Louis FC.
Since Cicerone has moved over to the left, now he's getting some touches here.
And a clearance, Reynolds! Not far off the mark. Struck it well. Hands over his mouth. That missed the upper corner by just 4 or 5 feet.
It's well taken. And you got to like the confidence of Reynolds. And why not? He has the space. The opportunity is there. No one's closing down on him quickly. So why not take the shot there? Go for the spectacular goal. Well done by Sean Reynolds. Quiet match for him. I think a couple of occasions he's made overlapping runs, but they haven't been able to play the ball out wide to him, or they haven't played the ball out wide to him. So he hasn't been able to have the full impact that you want from your right back. But just to finish the point on Cicerone real quick, since he's moved over to the left, he hasn't gotten the ball enough to really run at that Nashville defense. Part of that is because Nashville has had so much more possession. I'm trying to get Kadeem Dakers more involved in the attack going forward for St. Louis.
Good work from Greg to keep it alive in the corner. Reynolds. Dakers. Good work tackling back. Akinyode, the Nigerian. Kavita. Away from LaGrassa.
Dakers has to get it back to Fernandez. Fernandez gave the pass to Dakers, and then Fernandez made the run into the area. Dakers just quick one touch to Fernandez. He sends Fernandez into the penalty area, and then who knows what can happen there. A shot, create another shot, opportunity, penalty.
Dakers with Reynolds. Colin Fernandez. Sloppy pass that time, sort of in between two minds there.
Yeah.
Good kick and a booking.
Let's go, Umar. He had to make that foul there. You mentioned that there was a quick turnover, bursting forward, Darnell King. Clumsy challenge there after King had gotten past him. And the referee, Thomas Snyder, had no choice.
A yellow card caution has been issued to St. Louis FC's number 17, Oscar Umar, in the 67th minute.
And much like LaGrassa's foul in the first half, on the break, don't want to let him get too far in that attacking half, so you commit the foul. Professional foul for the yellow card.
It's Melodo. And a free kick. Too much contact. St. Louis with the restart. Reynolds earns the free kick.
That's a good way to defend on set pieces. Win the foul in your favor. That's what Reynolds does there. With his body position, his positioning there.
Lasso overeager as he went for it. Now, two good defensive teams. Nashville has allowed just 24 goals this season through 27 games. St. Louis FC, 32 goals against. Does this game have a goal in it?
I think it does. I think so. I think there's going to be a mistake in the back. Someone's going to leave a space in the midfield, and then someone is going to take advantage of it. The question is, who is it going to be? That for me is the big question.
Oh, a fortuitous bounce there for Nashville. Right in the path from Moloto, but St. Louis, as you expect, back in good numbers, 2 blocks of 4. Well blocked. That's taking no chance. That shot was going to come from about 35 yards out from Lancaster. But Umar was right there in his hip pocket.
Yeah, that was a chance. You mentioned Lancaster, but numbers back for St. Louis, so that's limiting the spaces, basically clogging up any kind of passing channel or lanes that Nashville want to use. And the only player really for Nashville who's been really active in the attack is Mensah, and it's been on a couple of occasions. It's not something that's been consistent and that really is threatening or worrying the St. Louis defense. So right now they've done an excellent job of getting the numbers back and then keeping their ship being organized defensively. Mensah with a couple of chances moving off the ball, but Nashville haven't been able to consistently find him in those dangerous attacking areas.
Gaia Ben preparing to come on for St. Louis FC. Ben gets his turn. Oscar Umar comes off.
Leaving the game, number 17, Oscar Umar.
That makes sense. Midfield player.
Game, number 12,
just pick up the yellow card as well.
In the 71st
Fresh
minute.
legs to try to help out in terms of the connection between the defense and the midfield. The link-up play.
The shot from distance doesn't trouble Pickens. St. Louis FC now out of subs. 20 minutes to go. Somewhat of a risk. Ulis is going for it. Keep in mind, it's their 3rd game in 7 days, so some tired legs, but he did rotate the squad. 5 changes from the team, which beat Ottawa 1-0 at home on Wednesday.
I think the timing of the substitutions is, to me, indicating that he wants to go for this victory. He's not waiting till the 80th minute, just throw bodies in and, you know, root one football and hopefully get a header into the area. He wants all the substitutions that he's made, those players that have come on, to get warmed up, get into the game, get into the flow of the game, and that takes time. So early substitutions in the second half. We got, what, 54th, 59th minute, now 71st. More than enough time for those 3 players to get into the flow of the game.
Greg challenges opposite number Bourgeois. Free kick. Greg tries to play quickly. Bourgeois saying he dove.
Well, it's smart by Greg. Smart by Greg. He engages the defender, uses his body to get in between the defender and the ball, and you can see the left arm of Bourgeois engaged and kind of locked up there with the right arm of Greg, and Greg sells the foul. It's a smart play by an attacking player.
Colin Fernandez over there, along with Kadeem Dagers. Both teams good on set pieces. Fink one to watch. 6 goals to his name. Number 4 for St. Louis. Fernandez tapping his chest. It might be coming for him. It is Fernandez. to a low spot. A bend right off the bench did his best, but couldn't test Pickens.
Yeah, they tried to keep it low near post there. Bend, great attempt there on the flick-on header, but just couldn't get it that angle enough. I think should have played that one into the heart of the penalty area. Keep it into the middle. Give Fink a chance, Kavita a chance to get in, elevate and head that ball onto frame.
Pickens taking his time to hear Pulis talking with the fourth official about time wasting.
It's definitely been more than 6 seconds, that's for sure.
You can see Lancaster not back on the field. Now he's allowed to come back on.
Oh.
Good work from Greg. Good vision, pulls it back. Dakers top of the box. Chance here for Fernandez! Just past the near post. Quality build-up from St. Louis, but still, they missed the target.
Yes, but first of all, great pressure by Greg. It actually starts with Tyler Blackwood. His pass is errant, and it goes into that space, and Greg just putting the pressure, wins the ball back, and then good passes from Greg to Dakers, and then Dakers to Fernandez. Maybe that touch by Fernandez is a little too heavy, that final touch before he takes the shot, and couldn't keep good balance. You see him sliding to get that shot off. He just missed it. But good pressure there by Kyle Gregg to win the ball and deepen their attacking half.
He's been a difference maker since coming off the bench.
Yeah. And you mentioned the team's leading goal scorer, so he has that knack of scoring goals, but also putting his team in situations to score goals, his teammates.
Now Nashville up this right side. Good cross, top of the area, knocked down. Right back by Meloto. Here's Meloto, facing up. Well read that time. Fink saw it coming, got there first and clears to Greg. Greg earns another free kick.
Well, Fink is able to drop back and make sure that Lancaster doesn't get the ball because he had teammates in front of Meloto to prevent Meloto from getting either running at the defense or having kind of a free reign to pass the ball there. So good team defense there by St. Louis. If no one is in front of Meloto, then Fink has to come out, defend Meloto, and that gives Lancaster, he had the position inside of Kavita. So getting those numbers back, working very well defensively for St. Louis.
Mensah. Meloto. Taylor Washington now for Nashville. Oh, good work here from Nashville. Top of the box. Meloto pulls it out. Meloto has options. Too close to the goalkeeper. Had a few in the box. Maybe could have kept it and recycled it once more.
Yeah, definitely could have done that. He looked like, I believe Mensah was the one that flew in late there trying to get on the end of the service, but maybe a little bit impatient for Meloto. But St. Louis getting the numbers back, and so not many options for Meloto. And he didn't, from that position, he didn't want to play it backwards, so tried to force it in, and Mensah late on the run, easily handled there by Fenderson.
Good fake, chance here, opening goal! Russell Cicerone, Swallowy at the top of the box, and St. Louis now in position for a third straight home win in 7 days.
And this starts with Nashville turning the ball over, a sloppy pass in their own half. Cicerone intercepts it. Swerve of the hips. He must have been watching the Shakira video because he had some great movement here. Look at sloppy passing, wins the ball. Look what he does there to a couple of defenders. He turns Bourgeois and Tribbett around and then creates the space in a beautiful left-footed shot. Brilliant goal by Russell Cicerone, but it's a mistake in the back from Nashville, and Cicerone takes advantage of it.
Yeah, it was Lasso with the headed clearance. He went central, right into the path of Cicerone, who took advantage.
Yep.
5th goal in the year for Cicerone, and Carlton Belmar comes on. Belmar on, Moloto off. Substitution brought to you by Cigna.
That is why you want to put pressure sometimes on those center backs, because they're not used to playing the ball at their feet. Cicerone in that right place, coming in. He's out wide on the left, but Pinch comes into the middle a little bit, kind of anticipating that play. And what he does to swerve and make Bourgeois and Tribbett give them out of position. And that little swerve to the right, to his left, open up the space for him to take that left-footed shot. It's a brilliant play by Russell Cicerone.
Well, Belmar in the match will try to repeat his last outing. He came off the bench at the game winner against Tampa Bay, 79th minute last weekend.
So that tactical shift of bringing in Dakers and then moving Cicerone to the left has worked out very well.
Another cross. Pickens, easy catch at the near post.
Substitution for Nashville, leaving the game number 10, Levo Moloto. Entering the game number 11.
Moloto coming off. That's big for St. Louis's defense, because Moloto, very little influence. In fact, 0 influence in the attack for Nashville. And he was the player that they needed to neutralize the most. St. Louis's defense needed to neutralize him the most. And he's not going to finish the game, so St. Louis defensively very strong in that aspect.
Could be another season-defining win for St. Louis FC. 3rd game in 7 days. There's 2 days of recovery in between the Sunday win before playing Wednesday, a late win on Wednesday night, and 2 days of recovery. On top of that, a conversation with Anthony Pugliese raved about Kyle Gregg's work rate on Wednesday. Did not expect him to play 90 minutes, but he did. Scored twice on Sunday. He said decided to keep him in the lineup. Full credit. A team first mentality for Gregg, and then Gregg has really brought that again tonight. They're going 90 on Wednesday.
Coming in.
Long throw in for Bourgeois. Headed clear by Fernandez. St. Louis 10 minutes away from a possible 2nd straight victory over Nashville this year by a 1-0 scoreline. Speculative effort. Well over the goal from Akinyoti. Another change here from Nashville. Alan Wynn's going to come on. Kenneth Tribbett will come off.
Number 6, Ken Tribbett. Entering the game, number 19, Alan Wynn.
Wynn, 4 goals to his name this season.
So now let's see how this impacts on the formation here for Nashville, as they were playing the 3 in the back. Now for St. Louis, this is a situation here. They're going to be forced to sit back and defend. So now they have to make sure that they have their marking extra tight here. They cannot let any Nashville attacking player loose. They have to make sure that there is a man on top of them almost any time they get, or pretty much every time they get into the attacking half here. And if St. Louis can get a good spell of possession, that will certainly help also.
Belmar off the bench to help win it for Nashville. 11 on the ball now. LaGrassa. Belmar waited too long for it. His opposite number went and got it and earns a free kick. Nice work from Dakers
Grassa has to be careful. He has a yellow card already in this game, so I mean that could have been a second yellow, although I think it would have been harsh, but still he has to be careful. I think now that Tribbett out of the match and Win adding to the attack, it looks like Akinyode is dropping back and kind of being that third defender.
Here comes Pickens. Will not get his 100th career shutout tonight. 77th minute goal from Russell Cicerone, the difference. Nice work from Reynolds pinching in. Won by LaGrassa. Carlton Belmar.
I have to make a correction here. Actually, with Wynn coming in, they've gone to 4 in the back now, with King on the right and Washington on the left.
Blackwood on the break. Lost his balance. Throw in for Nashville. Darnell King, good work against the surging Tyler Blackwood.
It's 4 in the back for Nashville now. They kind of given up, well, I wouldn't say given up, but with Wynn coming on, it's Washington in the back on the left, and then Lasso Bourgeois in the middle, and Darnell King is the right back. A little wrinkle to the tactics for Nashville.
There's Reynolds again. Diligent defending at the right back position. Back giveaway. And turning. Well blocked. Kavita got out there just in time.
And Colin Fernandez kind of harassing Mensah. Allowed Kavita to get back into the space to make that deflection there. Fernandez slowing down Mensah enough to allow Kavita to recover into that area.
Oh, it's over the top for Greg. Greg gets there right as Pickens does, and it's over the end line.
Oh, it's a great ball over the top. It's the right decision. Great thought to get it over the top for Greg. Now that Nashville need the goal, they're going to play higher. They're going to push more men forward, so that leaves that space open at the top. And then well done by Matt Pickens. That's that experience. He's seen that before, so he comes off of his line, puts pressure on Greg. And also Darnell King was there to help out as well. I think King is the one that clears it away. That's going to be more, these last 5 minutes, those opportunities are going to be more frequent for St. Louis.
Electro Savings corner kick for St. Louis. Dangerous ball delivered. 2 men there to head away for Nashville at the front of the 6. Another corner kick coming.
If this scoreline holds up, then you're looking at a situation where St. Louis has won both meetings this season 1-0. If they meet up in the playoffs, you have to figure St. Louis is going to be feeling very confident that they could upset Nashville, or at least beat the higher seed, because Nashville will probably end up the season as the higher seed.
Corner kick brought to you by Electro Savings. Belmar. Allen Wynn. Waiting for help. Wynn. Reynolds does well again, but it's still alive for Nashville. There's 5 green shirts in the box to help clear.
That's why it's so important to get those numbers back in that transition defense. In case a situation like that happens.
Wynn. It's been good defending all night from St. Louis. They've had good organization. Not too many times where Nashville's found a man on the ball with a lot of space in the final third.
And then also, how many saves has Fenderson had to make? Maybe 2 or 3, but nothing too risky, too nervy.
Shaky cross that time, way too much from Taylor Washington. 89th minute, St. Louis FC leading Nashville SC 1-0. Anthony Pulis was honest about their recent form. He said, we're not doing anything too different from the 5-game winless run. He said we really simplified things. Last week, before the victory over Hartford on Sunday, had a team building event, tried to buoy the spirits, told the guys what they've been good at, try to stick with our identity. And after that week of simplifying the game plan, a few minutes away from a possible 3rd straight win, each coming at home.
Yeah, you see 4-4-2 formation, keeping it simple there, and then playing the possession when they have the ball, but most importantly, keeping the defense solid, and then trying to capitalize on your opportunities on the counterattack or a quick turnover.
St. Louis looking for a second. Pickens to his right to deny Dakers.
Dakers finding that space. And a quick turnover through that midfield. Plenty of room to operate.
Substitution for Nashville, leading the game, number 9.
It's a great chance there.
Tucker Hume, big target. Coming on in the 90th minute for Cameron Lancaster. Metro Savings corner kick for St. Louis FC. They try to keep the ball in the corner.
That's a time-wasting situation there for St. Louis. Although they have been playing it short.
The fourth official has indicated 4 minutes of added time to the second half.
Tussle on the edge of the box, 4 minutes added on. Stoppage time presented by Paycor. Need more time in your business? Contact Paycor to handle your payroll and human resources needs.
St. Louis has been playing short corners all game. Let's see if they can surprise Nashville. Although, but we mentioned it, Sam Fink is very good scoring goals and set pieces. One time send it into the area and see what he can do. Hasn't been the case in this game.
Washington. More good work from Reynolds. He's been rock solid in the second half tonight. To Greg. Decker's cheeky there between two. Runs into Lasso. Referee had a good view. They have gone down a little too easily.
Yeah. I think he noticed that maybe that touch to get around the defender there was, around Lasso, was a little too heavy, so tried to sell the foul there.
Possibilities here for Nashville. It's second half stoppage time. Down a goal. Low delivery. There's G. Good organization all night.
Yeah.
St. Louis has dealt with the crosses for the entirety of the match. Here's a big one. Easy catch, Jake Van Lessen. Off his line, approaching his 7th shutout of the year.
Pretty comfortable night for Fenderson today in between the sticks there. Hasn't had to make any real exciting saves or dramatic saves in this match. And as you mentioned, they've done very well with the crosses, with the exception of a couple of times where Mensah has run off the ball and got into the penalty area of St. Louis. They haven't been threatened consistently by Nashville's attack. So it's a strong, solid defensive game plan deployed by St. Louis today.
Free kick. Negrasso is upset, but the call goes in Nashville's favor. Colin Fernandez into the sliding tackle.
St. Louis wanted that possession in their half, so that's why they were upset about it.
Pickens with the restart. Hume there, 6'5" forward, heads it across the top of the penalty area. Flip to the back post. Good work in the air from G. He earns a free kick. You have to be brave. You're an undersized outside back like Paris G, going up against a bigger guy like Forrest Lasso. Remember, G was down, had that big shot. Foot or a knee to his face. Received treatment for a few minutes, and he's still putting his head on the line.
Yeah, he is a brave defender, that's for sure. Hasn't had to do much in terms of the attack for St. Louis in this second half, but him being there, maintaining that discipline, keeping that line in unison with the rest of his back line mates has been very important. Kind of a quiet, strong game for Paris G.
Throw in here for Nashville. We're past the 4 minutes of second half stoppage time. Tucker Hume nods it on. Maybe one final chance here for Nashville. Lasso direct. Van Lessen off his line, he gets there. Just ahead of Hume.
Gaia Bend is telling Van Lessen, get on to the ground.
Full time at West Community Stadium. 3 wins in 7 days, a 9-point homestand for St. Louis FC. And they deny Nashville SC an opportunity to go atop the Eastern Conference for the first time in their 2-year history. Our man of the match, presented by Pleats Cleaners.
Russell Cicerone, he got the goal, but even without the goal, he was my man of the match. He was the standout performer on the pitch for St. Louis, or for Nashville as well. The way he was running at the defenses, especially in the first half, he was their best attacking player in the match. And in the second half, Dakers comes on, he switches over to the left side, finds himself in an excellent position, gets the turnover in the midfield, and scores a brilliant goal.
St. Louis FC will be back in action at West Community Stadium on Sunday,
Final score
September 18th.
presented by Edward Jones. St. Louis FC 1, Nashville SC nothing. St. Louis did all they needed to do on this 3-match homestand. They win tonight, 1-0.
To get your tickets now.
The excitement that is sweeping the nation has arrived in St. Louis.
And a goal! It's Cicerone!
Fans are loving the authentic soccer experience. Tailgating, cheering, chanting, and much more. It's a party you won't want to miss.
Goal! St. Louis FC! And a goal!
Get your tickets at stlouisfc.com.
And welcome back. Edward Jones presents today's final score. It's St. Louis FC 1, Nashville SC nothing. 3 straight home wins over a 7-day span for St. Louis FC. We go to our highlights. Second meeting of the year after a 1-0 St. Louis road win back in March. First chance, Masta Kashur Wide of the near post.
Yeah, this was a great opportunity here. Tyler Blackwood does well just to settle it. And then the service for Master Kasher. And then a chance here, Kavita winning the header over Mensah. And he keeps the shot down, but just goes wide of the goal defended by Matt Pickens. And then Nashville with a chance here. This shot goes wide by Lancaster, but it wouldn't have counted had it gone over the line because Mensah fouls Kavita outside the penalty area. This is a great chance here, and I said it, Blackwood just doesn't put enough weight onto it to allow Kasher to get a good shot on target. Look at the 3 Louisville defenders bearing down on him. A little more weight and the angle would have been there for Kasher, but still St. Louis were very positive in attack. Second half, this would have been a spectacular goal by Sean Reynolds. Just missed it wide.
Got the technique right, just couldn't hit the target.
Yeah.
Another good chance. Hernandez set himself up very well, but then could not test Pickens.
Yeah, it started with Greg winning the ball, putting pressure on that back line. And then
Here
here's
is the goal.
Yep. And then Cicerone wins the ball. Actually, it's a poor clearance by Lasso. Cicerone wins it. And then what he does is, look at that move right there to cut back to his left. He beats 2 defenders, swerving the hips, and then finishes strong. It's a brilliant goal by Cicerone, and Nashville, the big mistake they made in the back, St. Louis makes him pay for it. Our man of the match, well-deserved. Even before the goal, he was their best attacking player.
Nearly a second there.
Dean Dakers testing Pickens from long range. Look how much time and space he has. No one is collapsing on him, so why not? Go for the shot long range, and it was pretty accurate because it forced a save from Pickens.
Full-time match stats. 29 total shots in this one.
Yeah, but the possession numbers for Louisville, how about that? 56-44, but it doesn't matter when you have all that possession and you can't get a goal. You can't win a game. Possession with purpose. Nashville had the possession. St. Louis had the purpose, and they won the game.
2 meetings between these clubs this season, both 1-0 victories for St. Louis FC. One in March on the road, one at home here in September. That's a happy man, Anthony Pulis. 3 wins in 7 days for our entire crew. Signing off, full time, St. Louis FC 1, Nashville SC 0.